Snorkeling is an amazing experience, but if you've never used the equipment before and you don't have that much experience in the ocean, there are a few things that you do need to consider. Hi all of you awesome divers out there, welcome to the Scuba Diving Magazine channel, your favourite place for latest scuba diving news and gear reviews. Yeah, as scuba divers, we have plenty of crossover skills when it comes to snorkeling, and if we can't go scuba diving, you'll probably find us snorkeling somewhere, but there are some beginner mistakes to snorkeling that I'm going to run through so that after watching this video, you're aware as well as you know ways to both recognize and avoid some of these problems. Today's sponsor is Anthony's Key Resort in Roatan in Honduras, the original dive and adventure escape tucked along the island's northwestern shore. Think waterfront bungalows and hillside hideaways with the Mesoamerican barrier reef right nearby. So getting from coffee to the first splash is wonderfully simple. What I like about Anthony's Key is how holiday logistics basically disappear. Their resort package includes accommodations, round-trip airport transfers, and 3 daily meals, plus resort amenities like a freshwater pool, kayaks, paddle boards, and Wi-Fi. Divers can add dedicated dive packages, and the resort also offers on-site PADI training from beginner all the way up to professional levels. If you've got snorkelers in the group, then guided snorkel trips run daily, and you can also snorkel at your own pace around Bailey's Key or the resort's backyard lagoon. And for a truly bucket list day, their dolphin programs offer everything from gentle, family-friendly encounters to long swim and snorkel experiences in a natural lagoon setting with trainers and marine biologists. They also put real effort into sustainability, including solar power and roof restoration initiatives. If a warm water dive or snorkel break has been calling your name, check packages, dates, and current specials at anthonyskey.com. Beginners often grab a snorkeling mask that looks right, but just leaks constantly. They think that's what snorkeling is like, and they never do it again, which is unfortunate. And strangely enough, tightening the mask straps can actually make that problem worse. So even a few strands of hair underneath the skirt of your mask can break that seal and cause repeated flooding. So first of all, loosen off the mask straps when you're about to put it on, put the mask section to your face and brush all of your hair away from that seal and ask someone else to double check it first. Holding the mask very lightly against your face, pull on the straps on both sides and have the strap to the back of your head a little bit higher. The strap should go above your ears. If it's squashing your ears, it's a little bit too low. At the beginning, it'll feel like it's quite high, but actually that's where it's supposed to be. Then when you pull on those straps, just take in the slack. Pulling on them too tight can actually bend the skirt and then open the seal for leaks, so less is best. You just want to hold the mask on your face. You don't want to pull it too tight. Your snorkel will have pieces for your teeth to bite down on, but they're not really there for chewing. Clenching your jaw leads to cramp and literally biting through your snorkel. The mouthpiece should be held gently in your mouth with your lips sealed around it, not like bitten down hard with your teeth. Your snorkel should fit nicely in your mouth with little to no effort. So when you're using a snorkel, first of all of this section goes in your mouth. This section kind of goes in front of your teeth, under your lips, and this part here is the bit that you bite down on. But once it's actually in your mouth, it should just kind of sit there. Without like trying to pull away or anything. If you're needing to chew on the mouthpiece to hold it in place, the whole snorkel may need adjusting. All snorkels should really go on the left-hand side. You can fit some to the right, but they're often designed to go on the left. Some actually have mouthpieces that are angled to be fit on the left-hand side. So if you swap it around, it angles in the wrong direction. And some snorkels, you can adjust the height and the angle of the snorkel, sort of where it adjusts, where it's attached onto the mask strap. So play about if it feels like it's pulling, but yeah, you don't need to bite down on a mouthpiece. It should just sit in your mouth quite comfortably with little to no effort. If you search online for the dangers of snorkeling, then you'll find some quite big, quite scary headlines today, especially about full face snorkels, about CO2 buildup. And whilst that is a legitimate problem that you do need to be aware about, just like most headlines today, you can calm down a bit. Everything should be fine as long as you do it properly. New snorkelers sometimes breathe a bit too shallow, which makes them feel more breathless because the carbon dioxide does build up, and that's what your body uses to tell your brain that, oh, actually you should be breathing more. Slow, steady, deep breaths help you relax and reduce CO2 buildup. If you think about the gas in your lungs, after you inhale, your body then pushes all of the carbon dioxide that it's made into your lungs so that you can get rid of it. But when you exhale, you don't empty your lungs completely. There's still a certain volume in them. And with the snorkel on the end of that as well, you now have even more area that still has that previous breath in it, which you then inhale for your next breath. So if you don't breathe deeply, you're just going to be breathing your last breath over and over again, and you'll get dizzy. So big, deep breaths to clean the air in your lungs. And if you need to, if you start to feel a little bit dizzy, take that snorkel out, get some good fresh air before you continue. Water in the snorkel is quite normal, especially if you duck dive under the water. There are plenty of snorkels that have dry valves to block the water from getting in at the top, but none of them are 100% perfect. So likelihood is that you'll eventually get some water in the snorkel. So you do need to be a little cautious when inhaling, especially in rough waters. If a wave goes over your head or you duck underwater to go see something, then a strong exhale, like you're shooting a pea shooter through that snorkel, should force most of the water out of that snorkel. Then take a cautious breath, and you can hear if there's any water in that snorkel, and maybe when you're inhaling, just put the tongue on the roof of your mouth to prevent water droplets as you're inhaling to hit the back of your throat. That's a great way to catch your breath and end up coughing. Many snorkels today also have a purge valve at the bottom, just below the mouthpiece, to help with this. As you exhale, it gets pushed straight, or any water gets pushed straight out of the bottom. So if you don't like water in your mouth, then look for a snorkel with a large trap, the big section underneath the mouthpiece down here, with a one-way valve at the bottom, so that every time that you exhale, just breathing normally, you're going to push water out of the bottom of the snorkel. Swimming with fins on your feet is different to just barefoot swimming, and snorkeling is just a relaxing activity. If you're not that comfortable in the water, there are plenty of flotation aids, certain vests and things that you can wear to give you a helping hand. But when you're kicking, you shouldn't be splashing very much, and your kicks need to be in an up and down motion. A frantic bicycle kick just wastes a lot of effort, stirs up the water, because the big flat section of the fin is just sliding backwards and forwards in the water. Whereas a relaxed flutter kick from the hips with mostly straight legs is much more efficient and keeps you calmer in the water. So straight legs and just a nice gentle finning action. If you're splashing a lot, it's a lot of wasted energy, so just nice and chill, you'll get there, but yeah, try and avoid like bending your knees and think about how your fins are actually moving in the water. Loose fins cause rubbing and blisters. Tight fins cause cramping because your feet are constantly bent. Also, beginners often kick from the knees, which is inefficient and tiring. All of your power comes from your hips and your thighs. Full foot fins are quite tricky. They do come in a range of sizes, but each size you'll have like small, medium and large. Each of those sizes will be a range of shoe sizes. And if you're at one of the extremes, then you need to do something about it. It's always better if your fins are a little bit too big than too small. If your fins are too large, you can simply wear socks or neoprene socks if you have them. They're much better because they act as a wetsuit if your feet get cold, to help pad out larger fins and reduce rubbing. There's not a lot that you can do with fins that are too small though, but many snorkeling fins have open heels with adjustable straps that go around your heel nowadays that are far better for getting the best fit. But in general, when you're looking at swim fins, too large is always better than too small. Snorkeling is very deceptive. You feel nice and cool in the water whilst you're getting roasted by the sun above you. And whilst throwing a standard t-shirt on will help. Most standard t-shirts, the material that they're made from, they're not perfect sun protection, especially when they get wet. If that's all you have, it's better than nothing, but a rash vest will be better. The material is better suited for wet protection, and like longer sleeves and longer bodies just help keep you covered, especially when your arms are out. You don't want your midriff exposed. And when it comes to sunscreen, if you are using sunscreen, check that what you use is actually reef safe. There isn't a global regulatory body on sunscreen reef safe emblems, so the manufacturer can basically print, yeah, it's reef safe on their bottle, but it may not be. For the sake of the reef, you can spend 5-10 minutes just looking that particular sunscreen up and whether it's going to damage the reef or not. The ocean will always be more powerful than you are, and even gentle currents can just pull you unknowingly away from where you think you actually are. When you're distracted with what's underneath and around you, you can slowly be drifting further and further from where you want to exit. When you're in the water, when you first get in, turn around and look at what the beach looks like from that angle, or like the boat that you want to get back onto. Just see what it actually looks like when you're in the water. And every so often when you're snorkeling, just lift your head and just check where you are and where you think your exit point is, so you don't get turned around or separated too far. And then when you're doing that, just lay still on the surface without moving and see if the water is just pushing you in a certain direction without you finning, because you may need to swim against that current to get back. Always be aware of any water movement and which way it's pushing you. Often unintentional, but extremely common, and in some cases has led to prosecution. Coral is fragile and takes forever to grow because it's lots of little animals that slowly make a bony structure, and one unfortunate kick can undo literally hundreds of years of growth when coral is already having a very hard time as it is. It not only damages the coral itself, but coral is quite hard and can be very sharp, so you can cut your very wet skin. Some corals can actually sting you like a jellyfish, causing quite painful rashes that can last for weeks, or expose you to infections, because a laceration in the ocean, there's lots of microbial nasties in the ocean. You don't want that. So keep your distance to the reef. You can get close, but just be aware of like how your arms and legs are moving in the water, and try to move yourself out of the way of the reef before it becomes a problem. People jump into the ocean without checking conditions, buddy plans, or knowing when it's time to call a day. Humility is your best tool when you're in the ocean, and knowing when you're literally out of your depth is very important. It's always better to err on the side of caution when you're in the ocean and head back to shore before the ocean takes that decision away from you. And dress for the occasion. If you were on the shore and you were looking for somebody in the water, what do you see? You see like a little head sticking out, and that's about it. And what color do you think would stand out in the ocean? If you're wearing dark, drab colors that blend into the ocean, then boat users won't be able to spot you. It's good to have something bright red or orange so that it stands out and contrasts well against the blue ocean so that you can be seen. And if you really want to be safe, then consider a surface marker buoy with a flag so that boat users and members on the beach can see you better from a distance. So much of snorkeling is just basic water safety, but there are some snorkel specific tricks that you can do to stay safe and of course enjoy the reef. And that's it. Most snorkeling problems aren't actually problems at all. They're just small technique and gear fit issues that can turn a brilliant session into a frustrating one. So sort your mask fit, relax your breathing, clear your snorkel with confidence, and keep half an eye on the conditions and your exit point. If you found this useful, then hit that like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments what your biggest snorkeling frustration was when you started. I do read all of the comments and it does help shape the next videos. And a quick thank you to today's sponsor, Anthony's Key Resort. If you're gearing up for your next snorkel or dive trip, then check them out by using the link in the corner of the screen. Using that link supports the channel and helps us keep making independent diving content. That's all for now. Thank you for watching, everybody, and of course, safe diving.